So, when I was 10 years old my mother married my stepdad. It was a pretty smooth transition for me as my parents had been divorced for over 3 years by then, and I wasn't really all that close with my father. My sister, who was 13 at the time, on the other hand hated our stepdad. She would cry, throw a tantrum, tell him he's not a father if he ever tried to discipline her etc. Stepdad tried his hardest to be a positive influence in our lives, but she wasn't having it. She even bullied our stepbrothers, 11 and 14 at the time, going so far as to making fun of their deceased mom. 14 would call her a brat and laugh it off, but 11 cried a lot. Any attempts to tell her off would result in her threatening to go stay with dad, and nothing was ever truly resolved. Even therapy didn't help much. And I must state here that my stepbrothers never bullied her, it was almost always one-sided. 14 would put 11 in his place if he ever acted out. Now that the context is out of the way, here comes the meat of this story. So our stepdad has a lakeside cabin, and every month on the second weekend he take us children there to help us bond as a family and to give mom a break. It became somewhat of a tradition, one in which mom would join in too, but only occasionally, and helped us come together as a family. My sister refused to go, and after a year or so, stepdad stopped asking, telling her she's free to join anytime she so wants. She never did, until recently. We're in our mid to late 20s now, living in the same city. We've continued the tradition, but it's only once or twice a year, which increased during lockdown. My sister said she wanted to join in. Caught us all by surprise really, but mom says she's been wanting to come ever since she graduated from college. Stepdad agreed and she came along. It was awkward, to say the least. My brothers don't really like her, they're civil around her, but that's it. Even stepdad is tense and formal when she's around. It just kills the whole vibe. I guess she picked up on it and asked me what's wrong. So I told her that it's way too late to try and be a family now and things are just way too awkward. Why try and force a relationship at this stage anyway, right? She got really mad and upset and is refusing to talk to me. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She made life miserable for everyone and now, 15 plus years later, she wants to be a happy family. What you said may have been a bit harsh, but I can understand why. If she wants a relationship, it will take a lot of work on her part, but an apology would be a good place to start. I won't tell you to forgive her, but if she honestly apologizes, maybe hear her out. Your choice there. No, the idiot because she asked. It's awesome she wants to mend fences, and I get it, she was a kid when she was the major idiot, but the reality is, she is reaping what she sowed. Hopefully she is able to be kind and maybe the relationships can be repaired, but probably better to start with baby steps like a family lunch or an afternoon apple picking instead of full-on multiple days long immersive togetherness. She asked and you spoke your truth. If she reacted badly then it's probably in how you delivered the message. She's grown up now and if she wants to connect with you, your brothers and stepdad then try to support her in it. It will be good all around. I understand how everyone was uncomfortable, but it will be smoother the more she participates. I own my house. It was left to me when my parents passed away. I assumed legal guardianship of both my younger half siblings. It's been 5 years, I'm 28 and my siblings are 13 and 17. The rooms in the house are 4 bedrooms, a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, a small office on the ground floor, a second larger office on the top floor, attic. Both offices used to be bedrooms. The larger one was my parents' room. It's now used by my brothers. They have a PC set up in there, some gym equipment, and PlayStation. It's more an activity room than an office. It's the largest room in the house. The smaller office is mine. I work from home and regularly see clients there. I've been with my girlfriend for over 3 years, and she moved in a year ago. In August her brother lost his job. He's been looking for work since but no luck. His wife is limited to part-time hours, she has to be under a certain amount each week. They have 3 kids, ages 5, 8, and 12. Their savings are pretty much gone. They have enough money to get through this month and maybe next month, but come December, unless there's a Christmas miracle they don't know what's going to happen to them. My girlfriend's parents live about an hour away and have room to host them, but they want them to pay $600 a month in rent which they don't have. My girlfriend has asked if they could live with us for free. Not permanently, just until they get back on their feet. If I were to agree before the end of the month, they could keep the money they would have used on rent for November. I don't have a problem with them living with us, however there's a space issue. I said they could have the guest room and the pull-out couch in the larger office. My girlfriend thanked me, but then said that she wasn't sure that would be enough for a family of 5. I suggested the blow-up mattress. She then said that this might be a good time to do some renovations. I've mentioned before now that we should fix up the attic into a proper bedroom rather than just storage, but when I said that it was in relation to us having kids and was a few years away. I'd also mentioned condensing both offices into one singular office and keeping the other room free, but that was before my brother started storing gym equipment in there. We could convert the attic with a few hours of work. If we could just get in there, fix the light, buy some furniture and move some boxes around, it would be livable. In regards to the office, we could easily move the console and PC, but the gym equipment would be a whole other story as it's large and heavy, so there's not many places we could put it, and I can't see clients in a room full of gym equipment. I don't think now is the time to rearrange the house, especially as the living situation wouldn't be permanent. I'm fine with them using the stuff we already have, but redoing the attic and offices feels like a lot to take on with 2 weeks' notice. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's free rent and not permanent. They take what they are given. It's already going to be super stressful doubling the occupants in the house. If the dad's handy, maybe he can fix the attic while he's staying there as good gesture and to get more room for his family. You're already doing more for them than their own parents. Man, you've been more than generous enough allowing them to stay. I highly recommend you do nothing to the house and absolutely establish a time limit before they move in. Ideally even get them to sign some kind of lease agreement to protect you against damages and to ensure they stick to the time frame. You're definitely not the idiot. No idiots here, although may I suggest that, if some of the renovation was something you wanted to do anyway, and it's economically feasible, that it's really the effort and time frame that are the issue, that it might be a good time to take advantage of the fact that the new people coming into the house seem to have some free time and might be able to help out with the labor. Might be the perfect moment to make it happen, if you can plan it, and her brother's family can help with the work. I, 45, have 5 kids, including 3 daughters. My daughters are Kate, 20, Lauren, 17, and Maddie, 10. So I have this beautiful prom dress. It's red and honestly the best thing to come out of the early 90s. I never got married, I'm with their dad, but we're not married, so it is the most sentimental item of clothing I have, and I pride myself on its pristine condition, and it was a gift from my late mother. I had it when I went to prom, and Kate wore it back when she had prom. Recently Lauren has been talking about when she's going to wear my dress when she goes to prom next year. Lauren is a bigger girl. Always has been. Nothing bad about that, but there is literally no way she is going to fit into that dress. The dress fits a 2020 US size 4, Lauren is a US 14. At first I tried to subtly take her away from the idea, saying are you sure, or you've never really worn red before, you're more of a pink gal, but she was dead set on it, said she'd been dreaming about it ever since her sister had it. Then I was like, sweetie, that dress is too small for you. She responded, I thought about that, we're going to get it retailored, so it fits me. I refused because that dress is one of my prized possessions and I don't want it torn apart. I said no, but offered to hire someone to make an exact replica in her size. After all, I was willing to spend more money as we didn't have to spend money on her sister's prom dress. She refused and said she wanted the sentimental value of wearing the dress that her mom and sister wore. I refused and she said I was being bad person and that I preferred my skinny idiot daughters. Later, one of my sons told me that he saw Lauren taking the dress out of the special memory box we have in the attic. I found her holding the dress, about to put it on. I said to stop trying, she would ruin it. I felt really bad for her, as she was crying about how unfair it was that Kate got to have the dress and she didn't. I gave her a hug and told her I would make sure she got the dress of her dreams, one that was truly hers. But she said that was the dress of her dreams. I took the dress round to my sister's for safekeeping as I know Lauren would try to put it on again. Lauren has been badgering me non-stop about it for the last week, even texting Kate at college, literally obsessed and refuses to back down. I even got a therapist, she has ADHD, to talk to her about it, but to no avail. I finally snapped when Maddie came crying to me saying that Lauren said that she had no personality because she was skinny and was going to have the whole world handed to her. I was fuming as this had nothing to do with Maddie and told Lauren off saying, if you are so obsessed about getting that dress, you have to lose weight because I am not going to tear up my dress for a bully like you. She called me bad person and is refusing to get out of her room. I feel bad, but I literally offered all the options and she is so fixated on that dress to the point that she is hurting her little sister. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I am no expert on women's sizes, but from what I understand, upsizing your prom dress would not be doable without significantly changing Lauren's demand that you do so anyway is really self-centered. Normally I think parents should affirm their children and not undermine their self-image. But in this case, reality means that for your daughter to fit into the prom dress, she would have to lose an unhealthy amount of weight. As someone who sews, I can tell you for a fact there is no way to go from a size 4 to a 14 and have the dress look even remotely the same. Fabric panels would have to be added if a color match could even be found. And if the original fabric would even hold up to all the manipulation. In the end it wouldn't be even close to the original dress. My sister is very slim. Her daughter is built more like me. She wasn't able to loan any of her old formal dresses to my niece, but I was, and I did for several dresses. Lauren got that body type from someone in the family. Does that person have a formal dress she can borrow that might still be considered a special sentimental dress? My husband Mark and I divorced last year after he told me that he fell in love with his coworker Lauren and he wanted to marry her. I was completely blindsided and devastated because we've been together since high school and we just celebrated our 15th wedding anniversary the year before. It took me months of therapy before I could go through a day without crying, and even now I still don't feel like the normal me. I'm doing my best to move on, but some days it still hits me hard. Mark and I struggled for years to have our 5-year-old son Cody, but just months after he married Lauren, she is already pregnant. Cody spends every other week with his dad and is excited about the prospect of having a sibling. I never talk badly about Mark or Lauren, so Cody doesn't know how it hurts me every time he says he's excited to play with a baby or that Lauren told him that he can pick the baby's middle name. Cody will be celebrating his 6th birthday this July, and I am planning a small celebration, close friends and family only. I know Cody will want Mark to be there, so I called him to tell him when and where the party is going to be. I asked him not to take Lauren with him because this is still a difficult time for me and having just him there is hard enough. The party is also going to be held at my parents' and they are still angry at him for what he did. I told Mark that asking my family to be civil to him for Cody's sake will already be asking a lot from them, but they will be deeply insulted if he brings the woman he replaced me with to my own parents' home. Mark refused and said that he won't be there if Lauren can't because she is his wife now and the mother of Cody's sibling. He said that it's my responsibility to make sure that my family is civil to him and Lauren, and if I can't do that then I should explain to Cody why he can't be there. I know that I should move on from all of this, and I really hope that one day I will be at a place where I will be indifferent to Mark and Lauren and we can all coexist at Cody's events, but hasn't even been a year since our divorce. I'm not there yet. All I'm asking for is time and for them not to rub salt on my and my family's wounds while I'm doing my best to heal. Am I really asking for too much? Not the idiot, co-parenting is tricky, especially in situations where the relationship ended in a dramatic fashion with infidelity. I know you want normalcy for your kid, but his new normal is going to be separate birthday parties for your side and his father's side. Expecting you to be okay with his mistress turned wife after only a year is inappropriate. Maybe in 5 years, or even 10 a shared party would be okay, maybe never. You have to heal, so you can parent. A shared party is a poor idea and would not facilitate your healing or a quality co-parenting dynamic. Your ex-husband is an idiot for not seeing why bringing her would be a problem. Shocker, the cheater is being an idiot about other things. Mark is lucky your family even allowed him to attend in the first place. You're not asking too much, and he needs to man up and stop being such an idiot to the mother of his child. Being civil goes both ways, and if he can't be civil by respecting your wishes, then you and your family don't need to be civil to him. At first I thought maybe you were, because it seemed like you were jealous of Cody and Lauren's relationship. However, the guy cheated on you. It was only a year ago. Of course you're going to find it painful seeing him, let alone seeing his new pregnant wife. As for your family and friends, you're not responsible for them, and he is responsible for the way they now perceive him. I would recommend Mark takes Cody out for their own birthday celebrations at another time. My father's brother has always tried to behave as though he were the perfect son, the favorite. He's 13 years older, so I guess for a while he was the favorite, being the only child. He and his wife are incredibly obnoxious. They like to do things for my grandma like buying her nice items, TVs, electronics, furniture, etc., but then call my dad, me, my brother, and ask that we reimburse them because we, aunt and uncle, can afford them up front, but in the long run we'd really like to recuperate the costs. They never let us know they're going to buy her an item until afterward, which means we get hit with a surprise request for reimbursement. 9 times out of 10 we agree to pay up because in the end we love grandma and want her to have a good and happy life with nice things. Recently dad took a month off of work to fix grandma's house. It was falling apart. He really couldn't afford to take a month off, but he did and spent $30,000 of his savings on her. My brother and I did what we could, but we're young adults just starting out, so we couldn't offer much more than labor and encouragement. 2 weeks after he finished the house, uncle and aunt showed up. They had bought grandma new, very expensive furniture and electronics. Uncle then took photos of the house and the new stuff, posted it on Facebook and claimed credit for everything. My dad got no mention. Several of our cousins and their childhood friends and family are on their FBs and they all commented on how good a son my uncle is, how grateful grandma must be to have such a loving child, how every child should be more like him. My dad was incredibly hurt but refused to sink to their level and publicly call uncle and aunt out. Recently grandma and dad's birthday came up, they share a birthday, and dad decided to throw grandma a surprise party. Grandma was so pleased and insisted dad share the party since he never celebrated. During the party I heard uncle and aunt claiming credit for the party. After years of watching dad take his undeserved knocks and shake him off, I guess I snapped. I made a speech in which I thanked dad for the party, making sure to let everyone know that he and he alone was responsible for it, had no help, asked for nothing from no one, all for his mama. I also thanked him for the work he did on her house, also making sure everyone knew how much he sacrificed and did, without bringing money into it. Uncle and aunt stormed out after making a fuss. Dad was touched, but also peeved, because now we have a problem with aunt and uncle. He wishes I hadn't gone as far as I did, but admits that it feels good to finally have people know all he's done for mom. Was I an idiot for doing this? You're most definitely not the idiot. Your aunt and uncle sound like absolute twats, and whilst you're going to undoubtedly get a significant reduction in birthday and Christmas presents quality, I think doing what you did was worth it. Grandma is hopefully fully aware of the effort your old man put into her house of late. Don't mean to be an idiot, but your dad should grow more of a backbone and stand up to your aunt and uncle. If they chose to buy your grandma expensive items, why should he have to pitch in for it when he had no involvement? Anyhow, you did the right thing by calling them out. They're leeches and they will continue to leech off your dad unless he learns to stick up for himself. Not the idiot, your dad, bless his heart, is one of those good solid earth men that will hold everything up and just take it. What you did was you brushed off all the dirt off him and showed everyone the good man your dad is. But like all good earth men, he's having a bit of guilt that someone else feels bad. Now this is going to be horrible, I know, but to assuage your dad's guilt, which he doesn't need to feel at all by the way, you should apologize without apologizing. I think something along the line of sorry your feeling was hurt, wasn't my intention to do that, and I wouldn't call them, just send a text and don't reply to anything they send back.